Good evening, everyone. This is the May 9th, 2018 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This meeting is being videotaped and can be seen at the town website, which is auburnguide.com. Before we begin with tonight's agenda, we have a brief presentation from our town planner, Mr. Matt Benoit. So, Matt, if you would come up and share with us what you would like us to do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm Matthew Benoit. I'm the town planner in Auburn. I'm sorry to bring this up to you guys today. Mr. Garland and I spoke this morning about a grant application that I'll be applying for that's due this Friday. This is a grant that's called the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Grant. What this is essentially a workshop or several series of workshops to prepare for climate change, such events like storms, flood-prone areas and stuff. We'll do an assessment town-wide involving many different town departments and other boards and commissions through consultant services if we're awarded the grant. That would take place throughout the course of a one-year period from June to June. And if the assessment goes well and we create a report at the end, we'd be designated an MVP community, the MVP standing, and that would qualify us to apply for implementation funds to implement the strategies of the grant in the next year, which you can get up to $400,000 in implementation funds. It's for repairing culverts that connect streams that are blocked up. A few years ago, Scott Jackson from UMass gave a presentation to the Conservation Committee about some of the block culverts and stuff, and I'd love to implement some of those strategies as part of the MVP grant, and then hopefully identify those real bad areas as action points for us to proceed. In addition to some other things that DPW has identified also. So as part of the application, it just requires letters of support from 3 different boards and commissions. So the Planning Board, the Open Space Committee had already provided a letter today, tracking them down today.
Okay.
And Planning Board last night, and then I reached out to Mr. Garland this afternoon to see if the commission would support that grant application also.
Okay. So basically, if the grant is is approved for the town, the town would basically identify areas of improvement to mitigate flooding and erosion of wetlands or conservation areas. Is that right?
Yes.
And provide monies that would basically supplement what's available in the town budget.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Is there any discussion?
I think that's a no-brainer.
And I want to be like really sarcastic right now, but
Please don't. You can save that for later.
it's a wonderful idea. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Any comment from the audience?
Sounds good.
Okay. Mr. Barocas approves. In that case, is there a motion?
I move that our chair write a letter in support of this grant.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed to vote?
Good luck.
And it appears that Mr. Benoit has a letter.
I have drafted that letter for you already.
You have it there,
Just
Mike?
happened to
I
have
don't.
I thought I gave you left it.
Okay, that's lovely.
Right there?
Did you?
I have one.
It's under the agenda?
With your
The agenda from tonight?
I don't think so. Nope. Sorry.
Mike has to sign. Yes, Sheila, I have.
Yes, yes we do. It's right here.
Okay.
We're good.
Excellent.
All right.
Lovely.
Thank you all very
And
much.
it
All right,
has
thank you.
Michael's name on it too, so there you go.
It's like magic, right?
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right. You too. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Appreciate
Very
it.
fast.
It's really good.
See you tomorrow.
Okay. So before we begin tonight's agenda, formal agenda, I have to ask if anyone in the audience is recording this hearing. Okay. If that is the case, the first item on tonight's agenda is a 7 o'clock public hearing. David Memmott, request a determination for the installation of an InGround Pool at 27 Rydberg Terrace in Auburn. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Vote. Mr. Memmott, how are you today, sir?
Very well, thank you.
Okay. So several members of the Conservation Commission made a site visit to your property a couple weeks ago, and there was a question raised by one of the abutters concerning the distance between your in-ground pool and the well on the adjacent property. I actually spoke to the Board of Health, and we had some other conversation to determine if there was a required setback of 100 feet. And I was advised the setback is, there's no regulation on point for wells and in-ground pools. There is a regulation on point for wells and septic tanks, which is only 25 feet. And so based on our walking the site, looking at your property and also looking at the adjacent property, it appears that the proposed location of your pool is well beyond that 25-foot setback requirement, and it's close to about 90 feet, if not maybe even a little bit more. So at least based on my determination or our review, it appears that in fact the Conservation Commission does not have jurisdiction for purposes of requiring you to file a notice of intent and then getting an order of conditions. That's just my opinion. Other members of the board are certainly welcome to chime in and offer their thoughts.
Didn't see it.
Okay,
No, no, sir.
I concur.
See, and I concur. yeah.
Okay.
That's out of that, okay.
all right. Is there any comment from the audience? All right. In that case, is there a motion to close?
I make a motion that we close the requested determination hearing for David Mamet on the in-ground pool at 27 Rybrook Terrace.
Okay, is there a second?
Second it.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay, Mr. Mehmet, we will probably be acting on this tonight, and you will receive notice from Ms. Conroy.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Good night.
So at the station I go in the road, that'd be 25 feet from me.
All right, the next item on our agenda is also a 7 o'clock public hearing. Michelle Carlson, a request for determination for the removal of 5 trees on property located at 28 Pinehurst Avenue. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed to vote? Ms. Carlson, or her representative. Hi, come on up.
Oh, thank you.
Before, so I don't know what you want me to say.
Well,
Other than I have 5 trees, I have a lot of trees in the yard. I think you have pictures, but I brought them to the apple.
I guess my question would be, how far are the trees from the pond? Because that's kind of important.
Did you get the pictures?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm the tree guy. I don't know if I should chime in.
please.
I brought them with me.
Okay.
I didn't give
Come
them
up here
I
and
think
sit
that's
if you
why
like.
you're here.
Yep.
And can you
I don't
just,
know if you can see the pictures as good there.
I'll
I
look at them
have
and see that just.
My name's Dan Moss, Moss Tree Service.
hello, Dan.
Okay, hi, Dan.
So the trees that are closest to the pond are probably 50 feet away from the water.
Okay,
All the trees that she wants to take down are rotten and have a lot of dead branches and a lot of dead stuff up in the crowns. So,
a couple of them are hollow. You can see
Yeah,
way up
yeah,
into
they're-
the trunk.
Yeah.
they've outlived their usefulness.
in very poor condition. So, and there's some other trees around that are fine, and
Okay.
those would be staying.
So, what would, as part of the cutting process, would you ground the stumps or just leave the stubs in place?
We weren't gonna grind the stumps, we were just gonna remove the
I'm
trees.
gonna have, once I know they're down and I have a timeline, we'll have somebody else come in and we'll be taking the stumps.
We'll take the stuff.
Does
Yeah,
your,
I don't wanna leave the stumps there.
does your property kind of go flat and then dive down towards the water?
There's the house, and then there's a little bit of a backyard, and then it kind of has a bank in, and then it goes like this with the lower backyard with all the trees in, and then it, oh, I guess it slopes a little bit, but not a lot.
And Dan, how will you access taking these down? How will you get to that?
It's gonna be a tough job, but I have a nifty lift, which is, I just got it, it's fantastic. Goes way up in the air, and I have a Caterpillar skid steer with rubber tracks, which is perfect for that type of job, getting in and out. So, and
To
then
get in there?
yeah, there is a steep, right where her driveway ends, there's a pretty steep drop off, and then there's a bottom yard where the trees are. So I gotta be able to get in and out of there. You can't bring a crane in there.
Bottom, when you bake, you have to get the bottom one?
Yeah,
what you're saying?
yep, we'll get those, and then I don't have to go anywhere near the water.
Okay.
So we do this kind of stuff all the time.
It's better that it drops that way. A minute.
About how long will it take you to do the job?
2 to 3 days.
Okay. And how do you remove the trees?
I take them down with ropes, and I'm going to use my Caterpillar skid steer with a grapple on it, and put the logs over at the bottom of the bank, and then I'm going to reach over with my small crane and lift them up and put them on my crane truck.
Okay.
I have to crane them out of the lower part of the yard.
That's all right.
So it's going to be a process. It's a tough work area.
Okay.
So, but we can do it.
Okay.
And I know that you don't want the stumps there, but you wouldn't, when you're grinding them down, you're not, you're going to be taking the precautions not to be getting the chips in the water.
Oh, yeah, they're not,
Okay,
they're
all
not
right.
even near that near, but yeah,
Okay.
no.
This one looks pretty close there.
It,
No,
Is it just for the-
it drops off.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
Picture's a
okay,
little
all right.
deceiving.
Yeah, it
Okay,
definitely
okay.
drops off there.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
It's not like right on the water by any stretch. This-
Okay.
But how tall are the tall trees?
60 feet, 70 feet. There's one real big one, the one with the split all the way up the back of it.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, that one's 75, 80 feet. That's a tall one.
Are they
I know.
diseased or just rotted out?
Yeah,
They're pretty diseased.
rotten. And it's,
Not a contagious disease for the trees around there.
No funky beetles or
Yeah.
anything like that,
Yeah,
but there's
yeah.
like one that's like split.
Yeah, I saw that. I did
yep,
see
that's
that one.
that's
yeah.
the tall one.
Okay.
There's a lot of them that are dropping
Thank you.
down into that too. I've been going by.
Yeah,
There's a
yep.
lot of them.
Well,
Last
that's why
winter.
we kind of wanted to have
I
someone
saw
look
it.
at them before
I
they
know.
landed on somebody.
I
We
know.
like to use our backyard.
We've
but
been.
It's getting a little,
I
not so
live
fun
down
when it's
there,
windy.
so I know. I've been going by there all winter long, seeing all of the trees that kind of fell during the winter time, during all of the
Yep.
storms, and
Yep.
now in the water. So I'm with you. I know.
The beavers are quite happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments?
I would just be concerned about the 25-foot buffer.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Okay. So really, the way you're going to approach this, you're approaching this from the street side and obviously not from the pond side.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And when you take the trees down, again, towards the street, not towards the pond?
Yep. I'm going to be roping them down. There may be a few that I can straight drop into her yard,
Okay.
but most of them are going to be roping the tops down because there's not enough room to
Understood.
crash them.
Okay. So you cut them in sections that way, correct?
Yep. Yep. Rope them lower down, big chunks with ropes.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a big job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any comment from the audience? Okay. If there is none, is there a motion to close?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay. is
Second
there-
that.
All right. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed to vote. All right. Thank you very much for coming in. We should get to make a decision, be able to make a decision this evening, and you'll get notification.
Thank you very much.
Did you do 7 Fletcher Drive?
Probably.
Right next door to me, I saw it.
Yeah.
Next door.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moss.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thanks for coming in. Good night, Michelle.
That's so funny. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
That's Gloria. It's downstairs in the collector's office. That's her sister. If you look at it, you can see they look just alike.
This is,
All right.
It's nice.
The next item on tonight's agenda is the 7:10 public hearing. Andy Mallard, a notice of intent for the construction of a single-family residence septic and well within 100 foot of the buffer zone of a resource area on property located at 165A South Street. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed to vote. Mr. Mallard? How are you, sir?
Good.
And is this your representative?
Yes, it is, sir.
With me? Oh, thank you.
I'm Jason DuBois from DC Engineering and Survey. We got a plan here. It's
Right.
what is the new address, 165?
1621, yeah, 1621,
Okay.
and 165 my house.
Okay, so the property was 161 South Street. We actually did some changing of the lot lines.
All right.
So now it's called 165A South Street. And 161 is actually right here in the front of
Okay.
the property. South Street actually runs up, through here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a long driveway that comes down in the back.
We've walked the property,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
but not recently.
Okay, so as you get down in the back, it opens up. The lot's about 5 acres in size. We have a house proposed with a septic system here, a well here, the driveway again comes down through here. I did highlight in blue, this is the wetland line that was done by Margaret Bacon back in March of 17, and the flags were, still there, mostly some are on the ground, but we rehung the ones that were on the ground. And then the green line is the 100-foot buffer zone. You can see comes around like this. So we're touching a little bit of the septic system, about half the house, section of the driveway, and some grading in the well. Is within 100 feet of the wetland. The closest point is 42 feet. That's to our erosion control barrier. Which we do have a hay bale silt fence, basically running from out here all the way down at the toe of the slope and around the backside of the septic system to here. That's pretty much it.
Have you, is the septic system approved by the Board of Health?
We submitted that the same time as this about a couple weeks ago.
Have you heard
2 or 3
from them?
weeks ago. I haven't heard anything back yet.
Okay.
So I don't see any issue. It's all gravel out there. It's all
Right.
sand and gravel.
Do you know when the deep hole test was done, or has one been done?
Yep. Yeah, we did them. We did actually some down over here because originally we was going to put the house over here.
Okay.
And then we moved them over here. So yeah, we did some test pits over here and there. These were done in last November of 17, and these were done in December 19th of 17.
Okay.
All
That's
pressed,
a good
no
hill
problem.
in that too, didn't it?
What's that?
That's a good hill down there too, isn't
The
it?
slope is impressive.
Yeah, it drops
Out
off. It drops off through here, but we're not really. It's fairly flat in through this area here. It does drop off as you get closer to the wetland.
Okay.
We went last year.
So, since it's been a while since we looked at the property, Mr. Mallard, I think we'd like to have the opportunity to take another look.
Sure.
So, we're meeting in 2 more weeks. I know I have commitments this weekend, but that still leaves the following weekend to take a site walk. So, with your permission, we'll do that, and if you're agreeable to continuing the public hearing.
Sure.
Okay.
No problem.
Because we looked at that with snow on the ground.
There was
too,
snow
right?
on the
There was
ground.
snow, and there was those chips. There was like
Wood chips.
Wood chips or something
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it looks much
Yeah.
different now than
Yeah,
it
it
did.
did go down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I remember, Michelle, you.
Yeah, yeah.
So what time would that be on May 23rd, Sheila?
Yet, which is lovely.
We have something on 7, right?
7,
Yeah,
just
7, and I think I've got something else. I think it's going to have to be like 7:30, probably closer to 7:30.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's see.
Should be the 23rd at 7:30.
23rd, 7:30. So is there a motion?
Well, I was wondering, why wouldn't you leave the house closer where you have more space and
Right.
was there a reason? Was the test pits the reason or something?
I don't really know what his reasoning was. I mean, just
So the boundary line's right here?
Yeah, I mean, it almost seemed like you could fit it
It's like-
in without going into the 100-foot buffer if you just
Right.
did it right where.
if we put it up like up here more.
No, down there,
right
down
in the
like
middle.
where the...
Oh, right dead
yeah,
center in the middle
Yeah.
here.
Right near the road.
Totally out of the...
No privacy?
Yeah, I think you
Back
want a little
parlor?
privacy because this is like straight in from the street.
Right.
This is kind of like tucked out of sight. That was his reasoning.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right, so is there a motion to continue the public hearing?
I make a motion that we continue the public hearing for Andy Mallard to 5/23 at approximately 7:30 p.m.
Okay, is there a second?
Second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
Opposed to vote? Okay, so not this Saturday coming, but the following Saturday, and we'll make arrangements to probably get there around 9 o'clock.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right,
I didn't know if you had plans of meeting Glenn Gravoski that day, because he had something else to do, and I thought we could
7:19.
put him first, because he did ask first.
okay,
Okay.
so how
Maybe
about 9:30?
Well,
Okay, perfect, we'll see you then at
All right.
9:30,
Okay.
2 Saturdays from now.
all right.
That's the 19th, I believe.
Yeah, the
That's not
19th.
Memorial Day or anything, right?
Inside.
Is it all right if I swing by another time?
Sure, I tell you what. We started putting I dug out for the driveway already, you know?
Okay.
Put all the gravel, the driveway's going, kept part of the loom up for the yard later.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, very good, thank
In
you.
your retirement?
Yeah. Work. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Nice to see you, Jason.
You too.
He's all set.
Yeah. Moving on.
I always spell his name wrong.
So for matters for discussion, we received a complaint, actually about a little less than a month ago from Mr. and Mrs. Barocas relating to property at 498 Rochdale Street.
Yes.
I know, why don't you come on up?
Sure.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good, hi.
So, after the complaint was received, and you will recall that we actually went to the property, and that would have been, I think, on April 21st. And we looked at the site. There's no question that the water level on Mr. Goodman's property, adjacent to your property, had increased, and that the channel of the stream was flowing quite well. So the question was, and I know the complaint basically is that, I think Mrs. Barocas, you believes that Mr. Goodman has done something to increase the amount of water that goes into that area. You will recall, in fact, this property has been the subject of our attention in a significant way going back to 2015, to the point where what happened is that I started clearing out the field, in the lower field, without providing notice to the town. We issued an enforcement order which included a cease and desist. He then eventually hired Scott Morrison from Ecotech, and as a result, that area was basically abandoned as a construction site for good reason, in our opinion. And then he constructed his house on the hill at the top. And then Mr. Morrison prepared a restoration plan to basically try to restore the area that had been, let's say, altered by Mr. Goodman.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and again, this was on our radar from basically the fall of 2015 through September of 2016. So I think the issue is, and apparently you didn't have any issues, there are no issues back in 2017, all right? Last year, all right? There's nothing indicating that there was any issue, any complaints filed, or there were any issues with that property.
Well, it's still pedaled up, Mike, where it was, but we didn't call on it because we figured that he was going to fix it somehow, you know?
All right.
That's why.
So really the issue is this. In order for us to issue an enforcement order, we have to have some sort of evidence that he's done something to alter the stream. Based on our review of the plan that Mr. Morrison had prepared, it appeared that he had restored the stream the way it had been beforehand. Now, I certainly can't account for the increased water flow, and I can't say it because I don't know if that's something that was done by Mr. Goodman, okay? So, and I think your concern, Mrs. Burgess, was that the flooding was now about 25 feet away from your driveway.
It's getting worse.
Well, all right, when we went out there on April 21st, I mean, I didn't take a measurement, so I'm not saying that I know what the measurement is, but it did appear to be more than 25 feet away. The other thing that I didn't understand was I don't know where his property line ends and yours begins, okay? Now, and so basically what our role is, we obviously have to follow the Wetlands Protection Act, we have to follow the town's bylaws and regulations. And if we feel, and when we issue an order of conditions, if we feel that the applicant has not complied with the order of conditions, then we have the right to issue an enforcement order. At this point, I just simply don't know if Mr. Goodman has done anything since the work that was performed on the property back in 2016, if he's done any additional work to make that condition worse. I know that Mr. Coyle, I think, was asked to see if the drain in that area was functioning.
Yes.
He
Yep.
advised that it is.
It is, yeah.
So-
We had the highway department come out and check it, yeah.
You know, so, and again, I don't know if if the water you're encountering there is strictly because
Yeah.
we had a wet season, or if this is going to be endemic or problematic.
Yeah, every year we have the same
We've been there
amount of water.
35 years,
Yeah.
and it's only changed at the
Yeah.
point of when the house was being, sorry, this is allergies, at the house that was being built is when it changed.
Okay.
Right.
And it's getting worse.
Yeah, and what I think might happen is where the design was, they just made a trench with the excavator, a straight shot, where the brook was. The brook actually flowed towards the corner of West and Rochdale Street there, and it took the water over toward the culvert and took it underneath there, and always kept flowing, and then dried out in the summer. So now it's always puddling there, so
Right,
that's the
so
problem.
in other words, the channel now is diverting water to the left as
Correct.
opposed to the right.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And what happened was he filled in to make a ramp down there so he could park his, equipment down there. So that's why it's all filled in, but that brook used to go right through there.
Okay.
you know.
You don't happen to have any old,
No, that's what you were saying, maybe Google Earth or something like that we
We
could do,
wish.
yeah. Yeah, we would,
no,
yeah.
like old, like even just your own?
There was
old-
never a reason for us to take,
Yeah,
to
no, because
take
that was,
pictures like that.
that was there for like 30 years like that, The next door neighbor though at 500
No, no,
too,
like,
he said the
it's
same
so
thing.
like,
Kids playing in the yard or something like
Yeah.
that. You would
Yeah.
say, no.
you know what I mean?
Because it's all woods.
Yeah, it's all,
But
yeah.
now the
But
trees
now
are
the trees are dying
in
because
that,
the
in that
water's there.
area.
It's
So
puddling,
now
it's puddling. We actually
sparse.
had the mosquito control come out there, and they found level 2, or what, the stage 2 lava, so they treated that now, so, because it's puddling.
It's
there.
just
It used to
stagnant.
flow through, and then in the spring it'd dry out, after
Oh, yeah.
the flows came through, but now it's all puddling up there, and
And
it's
the only
killing the
thing that's
trees.
changed is
Yeah.
this house was built.
Right, nothing
So
else has changed.
Nothing else has changed.
Right.
We've never had an issue
Right.
there. Like, comes and it goes, and comes and it goes. Now it just comes and gets bigger.
Right.
And gets bigger.
Yeah,
And
and like you said,
I
it's
don't
just
know
a
what
straight
else.
shot.
All I know is
Yeah.
we didn't do anything different,
Right.
and the town didn't do anything different.
Yeah.
Those orders of conditions, were they met?
Well, that's a good question. And as part of the process, what happens is that the way a project, when we have jurisdiction, we issue an order of conditions. There are various requirements that have to be complied with during construction, and then in order to get a certificate of compliance, they have to, in most cases, provide us with an as-built plan. We then make an inspection, and then we determine whether or not the work that was proposed was actually done. Mr. Goodman has not applied for an order of conditions for the property. And, I'm sorry, a certificate of compliance. And this issue comes up, in fact, we have a situation right now where the board, I think I may have been on the board for a year or two, back in 1997, issued an order of conditions, and now the applicant, 20 years later, is now looking for a certificate of compliance. We requested, or actually required, an ASBO plan to be done, and so now they're coming to us because apparently they're selling the property, and if they don't have the ASBO plan, they're not going to get a certificate of compliance from us. So this is what we can do. I mean, I noticed the level of water had seemed to have increased substantially from when we had been there in years past. I think what we can do and what we can discuss among ourselves is maybe sending a letter to Mr. Morrison at Ecotech and asking him to go out there and take a look.
That would be awesome.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Now, this is the problem, though. I suspect, like most of us, Mr. Morrison doesn't, volunteer his services. I don't know, because I can't say if there was any issue between Mr. Morrison and Mr. Goodman back in 15 and 16. I mean, we know Ecotech. Ecotech comes before our board a lot, and what Mr. Morrison provided to us was, I think, the discount version of what they normally do. So I don't know if there's going to be a money issue or not. But because we have a good relationship with Ecotech and also with Mr. Morrison, we will ask him to contact us, and we will arrange to have another visit.
Okay.
And then once we can arrange that, we'll contact you so you can, you
Meet
can have
with him and
comments
show
with
him,
him.
yeah, absolutely, that'd be
We'd
great.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
that'd be great, yeah.
All right.
And again, the design that he made, maybe again, it's just the flaw is it's coming straight down and puddling versus it should have been taking it a little
Or-
bit more away that way
Or what
towards the
Mr.
drain.
Morrison may tell us is that the design that he
you know if that's
proposed
on
is
this?
not what was built.
Right,
If
that's
that's the
true.
case, then we can
Okay,
take further action.
I got you, okay.
Okay?
Great,
Owner of the
that's
White
awesome.
House.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike, yeah.
All right.
Maybe
Son.
could you get in touch?
And the only reason, when you said about having him build the house at the top instead of the bottom, he was never supposed to build the house at the bottom.
No, he never
Right.
was.
Right, he was
Right.
only supposed to build that house at the top.
Right.
On the
Right.
existing
He was just a man that did
Yeah.
not listen to anything that anybody said. So that's where my question comes in, is that, did he
Without
do the
commenting-
right thing?
Without commenting about that, I will tell you that it was evident once we went there that he could not site a house there because of the wetland area that was there. So, in any event, you know, we thought we had corrected the issue. We will see what we can do to check it out.
A lot.
Awesome. Very
Okay.
good. Yeah, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thanks, Sheila.
All right.
Thanks, Mike. Bye, thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
All right.
Good night, Cheryl.
It's too bad nobody can see what it used to look like, because it's hard to replicate something that you can't see what it used to look like.
Well, this was, we never had a filing for that area or for that property, and so by the time we got the damage area.
Right at the end of that.
They've been sitting there
So, I mean,
forever.
yeah.
Sir, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm the applicant who's here for the guy who's got the 21-year-old certificate of compliance.
Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Allie.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disparage you, sir.
That's no, that's kind of fun.
We didn't say your name.
That's quite all right. Jim Malley.
Okay.
Basically, I represent L&L Certified Auto. They have a shop at 199 Southbridge Road, if you know who they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have decided that they've had enough of the auto business and wrecking their fingers. They've decided to sell, which they've got a buyer.
Okay.
At the closing, it came up that there was an issue with conservation.
Right.
Talking with Sheila, we both figured it was probably the as-built. She can't find her file. It's been 21 years ago. It was my second year in business. I've moved like 3 different times in my office. I've looked and scoured for that file everywhere, and I can't find it.
Okay.
So, I guess I mean, I know you want the as-built. We can reproduce that. That's not a problem.
Mhm.
What level of detail, I guess, do you want to see 21 years later? I mean,
Well, you don't have any of your field notes, right?
correct. Is it-
I think what you need to do is just go out there and determine where the wetland is,
Mhm.
measure off the building from the wetland area. Sure, you know,
Does he need to flag the wetland?
why don't we do this? Maybe if we make a real concerted effort, we can find our file. Or you,
I don't have a clue
Discouraged.
where it would be, because, as I said, they used to file it by DEP file number.
Right.
The numbers ended at 298. He's 324. And
well,
they're
could we
just
get it
like,
from DEP? How about getting it from DEP?
I don't know if I could get anything.
We don't know until you try.
Right. Give it a shot.
Certainly asked, but
I'm just
I mean,
thinking,
they're on a computer from 2001, I think.
okay. I think what we need to do is we need to see where the wetland is. I suspect that whatever flags were put in back in, what was it? Was it 97?
97.
Okay. And 97 have long since blown
gone,
away,
yep.
deteriorated, etc.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were at the property?
I had my car done a couple of weeks ago, so this was probably just a couple of weeks ago.
Did
yeah.
you take a look?
No, this was before they sold
Okay.
it. So
I mean, I don't know if you can eyeball the wetland or not, to be honest with you. I guess my feeling is that, I mean, who did the wetland?
Ecotech,
They did.
yeah. I actually called out Alan, and he gave me the file number, make sure I had the file number.
Do they still have their,
They probably have field notes as far as location. I mean, I think back then Art did like rough. I don't think they did a. They just flagged them and then we located them.
but that would be a start, right?
I can ask. I can call him tomorrow and ask him.
I mean, that's one suggestion. So my feeling is maybe DEP would have a copy of the filing, if we're lucky. Maybe it's a nail in a haystack, but probably their record keeping is better than ours. And then maybe Mr. Allen can help.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Art tomorrow.
I mean, again, it's not our intention to make you, start from scratch, but we do need something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I thought we did submit an as-built, but I can't produce one. I can't find the file, so
Okay.
I can't tell you if we did or not. So 20 years ago.
I mean, the funny thing is that I actually remember the application because for that, I believe that property was undeveloped at the time.
Correct.
And in fact, I know I'm the only member from that commission that is still serving. So why don't we do this? When do they want to close?
3 days ago.
Right, of course.
It's so sold the same.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Basically
I
now.
could hold back money.
Yeah, when the as-built is done, and I think probably prudent to do a site walk out there. When that's done, does it have to be voted on at a commission meeting like this, or can you sign off that this is seriously?
We need to have it.
Good meeting.
It needs to be
So-
approved by the commission.
Okay, so
We're
somebody.
meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, I think if we put our heads together, we can probably get this done by the 23rd.
Absolutely.
They would sign it that night if everything was
okay.
okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
And I'll reach out to Art, then I can start, working on a plan
Yeah,
and putting something together, so,
okay.
sounds good.
When you did the plan in '97, was it an AutoCAD? I'll take that as a no.
No,
Okay,
no.
all right. Okay, so, yeah, let's see what we can come up with.
Okay,
And if you have any questions, you can get in touch with Ms. Conroy.
I will do that.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
all right, thanks for coming in.
Time. Take care.
Take care, Joe. Okay, I'll try to get in touch with DEP tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll call out and I'll reach out to you.
All right, great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
It's sold as the same type of property then? Is that the same type of business? Just sold to someone else?
I have no idea.
So, it also appears, Sheila, that we got a request for a certificate of compliance from Alex Pappas.
Who's not alive?
And we thought
correct.
that,
He's not alive.
I'm assuming it was from his heir.
Yes.
Do we know who?
But his name was on the,
Right. And I'm also assuming that an ASBO plan was required, right? This is that that property located near the tire store on the
it's
same
right
side.
I think it's right across from the Mass Pike, and then you've got that plaza. I think it's right across there. I think it's right in
Mass
there.
Pike?
282. Is that right?
I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, 282 is this way. Southbridge Street starts in Worcester.
Yeah.
And you're going up into
Let me get the file out.
Okay.
3. The Dunkin' Donuts is 3 something.
I thought this was the property that has been offered for sale at various times. There were issues with, I think, actually DEP at the backside of the property near the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
I don't think Google has this right. It's just
Yeah, I was just gonna do that too.
parcel.
Well, it is vacant.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's just a different parcel.
And this is the one right
Looking
behind-
based on the age of that plan, I'd say it's pretty
Wow.
old. What's the date of the
October
plan?
Old blue
89.
egg ones, huh?
That's before me.
Before I was born.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Oh, so it butts the railroad.
Yeah, this is
Doesn't
this.
tell you much
Wow.
of anything.
There's the railroad. This is the lot on the
I
side. This is
see.
Yeah.
exactly what I think it
Is that
is.
Thai place is like right
Oh,
here?
no, it's got it right. It's got street view.
The tire place is, yeah,
Like over here, yeah.
like over
okay.
here.
It's right here.
Oh, okay.
There's a boat,
Oh, all
there's
right.
a boat parked there for a while.
Yeah.
There has been.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
No, it wasn't even on a trail, it was just sitting there, and then someone probably got rid of it.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I see what it is.
So is there anything built there now, or is it just a lot?
no, it's empty. It's been cleared out from time to time.
Google's got it.
I'm curious why they are looking for a certificate of compliance now. Do they have a buyer? Did they ask you or tell you?
No, I don't think so. Let me see who called me
Okay.
about it.
Is there an order of conditions in there?
Yeah. Here's the order of conditions. Is this the one? No, this is for the other one. Yes, here's the order of conditions.
The old typewriter.
Yeah, so that was
Back in the day, wow.
Pass that down to him.
Sure.
Who did the plan? Cullinan?
Probably.
No, Murray,
Oh,
J.E. Murray.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Wow.
I worked with
Craig
him.
Farrell was the signer.
Tree Hickory Lane, that's where he was.
This is for Southwood Street. Yeah, so here was the order. I mean, we got the order of conditions, and then there was certificate, an as-built. It had it right there.
and as-bilt's required for this?
No, for the 199. I shouldn't be jumping around here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Kerry Gorham from Fletcher and Tilton is the one that's looking for this release.
Wait a second. The first document is a certificate of compliance back in 1994.
All right, wait a minute. Okay, all right, I'm sorry, we did rectify that. There's so much going on.
Okay.
I did call her and tell her that it was already issued, we were all set. I'm sorry.
You did?
Yes.
So, okay.
So this was a test.
It was a test on myself.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yes, I did call her and tell her that the paperwork she sent me was a certificate of compliance and that she was all set. It just was never, you know what, maybe it wasn't recorded and she needed it recorded again. That's what it was. She asked me if we would re-sign the new certificate of compliance so they could record it.
It's all coming back to her.
Yes, it is. Hey, I'm past retirement age.
All right.
Yeah,
Is
that's
there-
what it was.
You sure now?
Yes, I'm positive.
Is that a normal thing to do?
Not really, but
Well, that's what I said,
the fact is that they issued a certificate of compliance back in February 2nd of 1993.
Yeah.
So that's 25 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
Well, because apparently they didn't
It never
record it.
was recorded.
My feeling is that they probably need to record it because they're
Yeah.
transferring the property.
Right. And that's showing up on the deed.
They can't record
Because
that?
they never,
No.
that's what, I would think, that, I didn't think there was any date on a record, that you could record it no matter how old it was.
They probably,
But
you
this
may
is
be
a
right.
lawyer's, a lawyer firm and they,
They may be right, but they may not have the original anymore.
do you
Yeah.
need the original?
To record? Absolutely.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, yeah, it has to.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, a copy, the registry won't accept a copy.
Okay.
So, all right, in that event, is there a motion?
I make a motion that we
Reissue.
reissue a certificate of compliance for 282 Selfridge Street, originally dated
February 2nd, 1993.
February 2nd, 1993.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed to vote? All right. Oh, that was interesting.
At least we're
I
not,
gotta
we're
stop
not
testing
boring.
myself.
No, you don't make the meetings boring at all.
All right,
It's a
so,
test. There we go.
so we're gonna sign the new one.
Yes,
Here we go. All ready to go.
all ready to go.
Yeah,
Just like Matt's magic piece of paper.
that's right. That was
Here
unbelievable.
we go.
That's awesome. Where are these people? Hopefully they're not putting chemicals to kill those mosquitoes.
I don't know.
That's bugging me. Now that's bugging me. Just the chemicals. I get it.
Well, they do spray, we call the,
We're using a company that uses garlic.
oh. Well, this is a state-run company, I think, that goes out and does that spraying.
Yeah,
Same ones
sometimes they
that come
don't
around the
carry it.
neighborhood.
You know, they come to my house and I see the lights, and then I say, hey, I have a dog, you know, well, close your windows, you know, and I,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not,
No, we don't
Yeah.
have any.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
like I checked mine out. They're like, oh, they're like, no, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
We have some other items on our discussion list, but before we do that, is there a motion for Mr. Mehmet in the request for determination?
I don't think we can do anything about that. He's out of our jurisdiction. So,
Right, which means we can issue a negative determination.
yes.
Yep.
So I propose we issue a negative determination.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Okay.
You
Is that
said
27
within
Rydberg?
20
Yes.
Within 25 feet, you cannot have a pool within 25 feet
No,
of
septic.
of
Septic.
Septic.
Septic. In fact, there's no regulation that prohibits the setting of a pool from a well. The only regulation that apparently is on point is there has to be at least a 25-foot setback between an in-ground pool and a septic system.
But with the well, no, there was nothing?
With the pool and a well,
Oh, okay.
there's no regulation.
Okay, pool.
Which seems odd to me. Which was a little odd to me, but.
But still, how far away are they proposing?
That's over 90 feet away.
It's pretty much, yeah, there's a lot of space there. but-
You know, there are wetlands in the back of the property, but the pool is being built upland from that, so
So it's closer to the...
there's no wetland impact on the lower part of the property.
And no impact
And
to
the
the
well is
neighbors.
located sort of sideways from where the pool is.
So is it close to that fence that I saw when I went down there?
It's not that close. It's probably,
Way down.
It's right behind the house? But-
the well's probably maybe 15 feet from the house, maybe even further.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually quite a distance from the fence. Okay, so there was a motion to issue a negative determination. Was there a second?
Yes.
Was there a vote?
You didn't take
have a
it.
vote.
Because Karen asked me a question.
I did.
Oh.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed to vote?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and this is... Okay, and then there's, here we go. That was full Blackbird, here we go.
Thank you. The next item, we also have to roll on the request for determination filed by Michelle Carlson. Is there a motion?
I'll make-
Okay, which one are you going to make?
Okay.
I think it's fine.
Okay,
Negative
determination?
Yeah, negative.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so that's your motion. Allison, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, is there any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote.
All right, here's that one right here to be signed.
Do you look that one up? There's a big drop off on the back for that. Yes? Okay.
Well, it seemed like there was plenty of room.
All right, good.
It wasn't right on top of the water.
Did you see the beautiful house on the pond that they built? You remember the 1950s Brady house?
Yeah,
Did you see?
I haven't
have
seen
you
the
seen it?
construction.
Yeah.
No.
It's gore. Really?
Yes.
Yep.
Where is it exactly?
Yeah.
Oh, the one that we went
all
to, the
done, like, they moved in
1950s
and
house. Do you remember
everything?
with the
Oh,
she shed that was
Yeah.
there? It's
That's right.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
it was a great parcel.
Did they landscape the back and everything?
Oh, I haven't, well, I didn't go
Yeah.
back there, I just,
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We required an Asbuilt, so we will have a chance to see it again.
yeah, it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
That was another one that I was looking at. That I can't wait to go, and they kept the she shed.
They did.
They said they were.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right. So on our discussion list is Bonnie Samuel, 2 Warman Road. Mr. Kravosky could not join us tonight. He did, at our request, go out to the property, and I think he would like to schedule a site visit with us.
Okay.
So, as I indicated before, I can't, I'm going to be out of state actually this weekend, but I'd like to schedule something maybe for, and I think actually Sheila has scheduled it with Mr. Kravosky for May 19th at 9 o'clock.
Yes, that would work.
Okay.
I can't do that day.
Okay.
Let's see if I can, I'm not sure.
If we get a 50-50 shot on me, I don't know.
I understand.
If you call
Might
and,
be
you
a-
know, remind me, it's
Right.
better.
I understand.
It's better.
Like
Okay.
about 6 in the morning?
No.
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 What
How
time would you like
about-
us to
how
call?
about- How about 8? How about
Okay,
8?
let's see.
Eight's
All right.
good.
All right.
I'm not
and
sure,
we
but
can-
I probably can.
We can, what I'll do is I'll send around an email, see if anyone's interested in meeting for breakfast, and then we
Okay.
can figure that out. 33 Hampton Street. This is a site that I visited about this time last year, right, Sheila?
Yes,
And
August
I
of
went up there after that with you.
2016.
it was 2 years ago?
Yeah. I believe that's what I have written down
Oh,
here.
That's
I did go with you.
Okay.
I did go.
So, apparently, this is an issue between two abutters. I went out there and I didn't see any issue with wetland encroachment or any issue, frankly, at all. But apparently, there is a complaint about water issues. I would propose that we go and take a visit also on May 19th, weather permitting.
Is this the one with the, he's cutting down the trees?
Yes.
Yep.
So, and then Mr. Flug at Forest Park Condos. Now that's going back. That's probably 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah. Well, those pictures were
From 16.
2016.
So, okay. I guess the question is whether they can cut down some.
And he wants to
brush.
clear that area again, just clean
Right.
it up.
But it's right. It's on the bank.
Yeah.
It's on the bank. So, why don't we again take a look?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm
Yeah,
making.
that's right up in that same neck of the woods, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually near Hampton Street, that's correct. And then, I'm not quite sure I understand 7 Westwood Road. There are dead trees in the stream.
She just wanted to file a complaint. I don't know who she
guess
thought could clean that
God.
up. She said it's affecting the flow of the water.
She's right.
Where is Westwood?
Well, it doesn't, I don't know necessarily where that is, but I understand what she's saying, because this winter, and like I said with Michelle, down, so on Rochdale Street, going around to Pinehurst, like that little, where Tarantino was killed, like that whole area down there, this winter, all of the trees that were near the edge uprooted, like in the high winds, and they're all in the water. I mean,
Yep.
so I don't believe that that's necessary. I don't know how we can fix that. Like, you know what I mean? It's not our jurisdiction.
The
I don't
Blackstone
know.
River down where I work, same thing. About the storm for a month and a half ago, like the water got so high, all these trees were hanging out, just like 20 of them just in that one stretch, and it's
Done.
like, what do? You know what's gonna happen? Fish, it's gonna create fish habitat probably.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that that's going to be right. That's going to work out to the benefit.
Right,
but,
right,
I mean,
right.
at
It
this
doesn't
point that they're
start.
going to rot.
But
I mean,
the
it
problem
is
is
what
that-
it is.
It's an act of God.
It is what it is.
And, I actually think I had a conversation with Mr. Coyle. It was a different property, same issue with down trees like in a stream. And I don't think the town has the funds to do it. I think it's strictly a matter of money. And of course, they're not obliged to do it.
I don't think, and
So I don't think there's
that
anything that can be
a
done.
ton that you
And there's no one to issue an enforcement order against.
can. Right.
If it's an act of God, you can't file a
Even,
complaint against
He
God.
wants to pay to
Yeah.
do it, we'll allow it.
like
but-
even, like the maple tree, like I have 2 maples in my backyard, right against the water. One is surviving this year. The one that I love, like it's like one of my most favorite, and I'm praying, but I mean, it's not looking like it's gonna make it.
Right.
Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's, and I'm just hopeful. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
now I'm just hoping that I don't ever have to take it down, that it's just
Yeah.
gonna press on, but I mean,
It may fall down on its own.
right,
Unless you want to take steps to
right,
shore
and
it up.
I don't, not yet.
Yeah.
We're just gonna keep hoping that it just works out,
Given
you know what I mean?
your
But,
addition,
Right,
I
yeah.
was going to say something. I was going to try to be nice about it.
Right.
Money pit?
Right, yeah, exactly. It's almost done. The hemorrhaging is almost done
Okay,
at this particular. But it's not even because of that. It's just I can remember my grandpa, being down there trimming it and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
Understood.
it's just one of those things.
So-
Yeah, because I like trees.
Is it Ms. O'Connell?
Yes, Elizabeth.
Okay.
O'Connell.
Okay.
We can take a look. I don't think there's anything we can do.
Yeah.
I wish there was, but I don't think there. maybe when Matt, if he gets his MVP grant money, maybe they can, I'm serious, maybe they can
Maybe there's
devote
something
some
in there.
resources to doing that,
Yeah.
but I know
Yeah.
the town doesn't have the money to take care of it.
So do you think you're gonna go check it out?
If we have
It
time.
is.
I can't picture where Westwood Road is.
I can't either.
Is
Like,
it-
but then again, I
It's a
don't know
little
any
like
of them.
circular, I think.
So, Sheila, I did take a look at the list of open orders of conditions,
Yes.
and it's pretty substantial.
Yes.
So I suppose the question is, should we be contacting these people saying, oh, by the way, you should be applying for certificates of compliance, and
Raise your as-built.
by the way, if you're required to provide us with as-bills, provide them to us so we can act on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as I said to Darlene, I said, well, now this is gonna
Or
cost
just go
people to,
visit
have to go pay for the as-built plan. I don't know how much that costs, but I mean, it is part of the,
But
I think people just, after 3 years, don't even remember.
I think there's that, and also the pattern is that they do the work, they get their building instructed, and they just
Yeah.
forget all about it. And then until they have to sell the property, they want to
Yeah.
sell the property. It's like the title search is done. It's like, what do you mean I have an order of conditions? What do you mean
Yeah.
we can't pass title?
Yeah,
Well, because you didn't get a certificate of compliance.
yeah,
So I don't have the list in front of me, and I'm not suggesting we do it tonight. But for some of the older open orders of conditions,
yeah,
we may want to consider sending letters to the applicants, asking them if they want to apply for, or reminding them that in order to clear the order conditions from the title,
yeah,
they have to apply for a certificate of compliance, and that, in that particular case, if we ordered that they provide us with an ASBO plan, that they provide us with the plan so that we can act on it, something like that.
okay.
Okay?
There isn't like a timeline, like after 3 years?
Not
or-
for certificates
It's
of
only good,
compliance.
the order's only good for 3 years. You have 3 years to complete the work, or you can extend it for another 3.
That's for extension.
1, 2, or
So
3
I would
years.
think at that 3-year point, that's when we should really be investigating the site and see if they're done or not, or
Yeah.
anything that's 2 years or older, we need to know what's going on. Because they could be doing stuff out there without conditions as they want, and we
Yeah.
don't really know.
See, the fail-safe has always been the ASBIL plan, because if and the fact that we re-inspect, and, if the ASBIL doesn't conform with what was proposed, we don't issue the certificate. I will say in most cases, though, and I can't even really think of one case where whatever was built so deviated from what was proposed that we didn't, or refused to issue a certificate of compliance. So I can think of a couple of cases, but whose names will not be mentioned.
Protect the innocent.
No, protect the guilty. Or, in any event. And then finally, 34 Mill Street.
Yep.
That's Mr. Rosendu, right?
Yes. Now, I thought I sent pictures. Didn't send the pictures
I did not receive pictures of 34 Mill Street.
in an email?
I didn't get any pictures.
I might have.
I think I got an email.
I did not. Well, I've been interrupted so many times.
Yeah, I'm sure
that was the
you
problem.
intended
I
to.
have the pictures in my phone, and I sent them to my email,
Okay,
I'll check it, I might, I probably will.
but, I may not have emailed them to you.
okay. So
But he has got all kinds of, he's got...
this is a repeat of what happened a
yes.
few years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right,
and this was a totally different person coming in now,
okay.
letting us know about this.
All right, so if you could send us those pictures,
Yeah?
and why don't we make sure we discuss this at our next meeting, and again,
Okay.
It's just 30.
What about checking that out? Will you be going by there at all on that Saturday?
yes,
Okay.
or at any other time,
Yeah.
frankly, so, yeah, why don't we take a look?
I didn't see this before.
What are you looking
Not a
at?
complaint.
This Hi Joe just got off the phone with Bill Coyle.
Was that Brocas?
Yeah.
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 Did you see this from
It's on the
Scott
back of it.
Morrison?
It's on the back of
Somebody's
it.
already gotten in touch with.
Oh.
That's old.
Scott.
That's old.
This
From May
is last
3rd.
year.
2016.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Last
gotcha.
year.
Yeah.
Okay, last year.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay, it's on the back here.
Okay.
Sorry.
But you know what? That's an excellent segue, because I'm going to ask you to authorize me to write a letter to get in touch with Scott Morrison.
Okay, go.
I think that our chairperson should author a letter to Scott Morrison on
Okay.
behalf of the board, saying that he needs to contact Scott Morrison about the problem
For the issue at
Yeah.
498.
498
Rochdale Street.
at 498 Rochdale Street.
Okay,
Okay,
that's your motion?
that's my motion.
Second that.
Whoa,
Okay.
go.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed to vote. I will author a letter and I will share a draft with you if you prefer.
I would love for you
Anxious
to
to
have
have
that.
you.
Yes.
Okay, and then if you have any comments before we send it out. Okay,
Okay.
very good. The only other thing is we have meeting minutes.
We do.
And I thought, rather than have them pile up, maybe we could knock off 2 of them
Okay.
and then save,
Sorry, Liz.
The old
Hey,
would be
March
better.
14.
14 and 28?
14.
I do not have,
I have April 25th.
I have the 25th and I have March 28th. I do not have March 14th.
All right, well, if you want,
I got,
that's fine. You can make any changes on there and
That's
give
what
it back to me if you need any.
I've got 2 changes and that's it.
Go ahead.
Very
Which
good.
one's one?
This is for the
14th?
14th?
For the 14th.
Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 lines down, all the way to the right. After groundwater samples are to cross out, just delete the word to, are being taken for 2 years on a quarterly basis.
Okay.
6 lines that way.
Or you can make it to be taken, but I think it's easy to just get rid of it. And a little further down, after no butters are present, mailing slips of the public, just add an S to it,
Okay.
were submitted, and that's it. No other changes.
Okay.
Grammatical.
Can I have yours?
I'll give you back this one if you'd like.
Unless he wants one.
Okay.
Is it just one mailing slip? One?
No, it's,
No, they're multiple.
yeah, the butters received notice, all of the butters. I have no changes.
I don't have any.
Okay. So is there a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the meetings, the draft of the conservation minutes of the meeting on March 14th,
As amended?
as amended.
Okay. Is there a second?
The second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I'll
Okay.
abstain.
Very good.
Okay, both of you 2 girls are abstaining.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. March 28th.
I think I was here for that one. Was I here for that one?
You were.
I was? Okay.
Yeah, because it says you were.
Okay, so there was, okay, good, I don't have the notes though, so I'm gonna just kick back and let you guys do that.
Subtle. Very subtle.
And nothing on page 1.
So far, nothing.
I have no comments or no changes.
On the, where it says the plan stated 3/14/18.
What page are you on?
The front, first
Okay.
version.
About halfway down.
Show a new driveway, instead of show new driveway.
Yeah, I think and you have to be
Reverse.
flipped.
Where are you? Oh, I'm sorry. Right,
About halfway
right
down.
Okay. Right in the driveway.
Although I will say, it's after 5 solar panels were moved away from the driveway, the next sentence is, in the stormwater report, a sentence was deleted. Well, which one?
You have to know everything.
So my suggestion is that we just take out that sentence.
Yeah.
Okay. You put that in
I
there.
don't think he even, did he even say, and that was just part of
I
it?
think you put it in there so we would catch it.
Yeah, if you were reading it.
She's testing us. Yeah, she-
Yeah, first, Pappas and now this.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think other than that, I don't have
On the
any
top
other
of
changes.
page 2, should that be all erosion controls are, or is it okay to have erosion control is?
Oh, oh.
Okay, page two. Oh,
I think in the form it's okay.
Yeah, all are.
It's all erosion control, so it's a singular, overwhelming erosion control.
Good.
All right, so I'm going to compile a list of the site visits that you
Wait,
need
I have
to
one
do.
more.
Huh?
My name on the second page only has one L.
Oh, damn. You know how often I misspell that every time I write it? On the second page?
Second page, right in the middle there. Under 476 Leicester Street.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Does that happen a lot?
When I'm typing it out, I always put two, and then I have to go back and take them out to just have it.
Well, then you should stop doing that.
I know it.
Okay.
Tell my fingers that.
Although I think that's the only time she did it.
Oh, I did it on all. I just missed that one to correct it.
All right, is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of Wednesday, March 28, 2018 as amended.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote, and there are no abstentions. All right, and we're going to defer the meeting minutes for April 25th to the next meeting.
Right there. Okay.
Okay? Is there any other business? If there is no new business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a
What
second?
time is it? Does anyone have the time?
It's 8:05, 8:06.
Oh,
Need a second on the motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, a vote. All right, thank you, everyone.